Hello, Guy Longshaw, Longshaw Consulting Group. I want to share some more tips and thoughts from my resilience workshops. Thanks for the feedback I've been getting for these videos. It's really helpful and keeps me determined that it's worth doing this to get some things out there for you. Many of these are things, I've often found this with my workshops, a lot of the stuff I'm sharing and talking about is not new really to people. It certainly isn't rocket science, but generally it's stuff we kind of knew at some level or we know is true but we forget about. What I want to talk about today is that we see what we're looking out for. Now our attention is like a spotlight in a dark room. So whilst we think we're seeing the world as it is, actually we're seeing a small proportion of what's available. If you think of all of the stimuli bombarding us all the time, naturally we're filtering out the vast majority of it. These filters are going to be affected very much by our current mood, what's been going on lately, what we've been paying attention to. So to give you a practical example, imagine in the past when you've been perhaps thinking about buying a new car or another car, and you do a bit of research into that particular model. Maybe it's quite an unusual one, don't see them around that much. You spend the weekend looking things up. Back on Monday, when you're out and about more on the roads, it turns out the roads are full of this model of car. Well, what's going on? All that's changed is unconsciously you've begun to look out for this model of car, and therefore you notice it more often. Have you had that? It's a kind of common experience. So there's loads of examples of how that happens. Really useful to bear that in mind and know that's what's going on for me all of the time. So if I'm having a bad day, I'm feeling really bombarded, I'm feeling really worried, guess what? I'm going to be better and better at noticing what other things there are out there that irritate me or annoy me or worry me. This is why when you're having a bad day, things stress you out, which on a good day don't bother you. You can just get over them. So it's really important to think of what do I want to look out for? What are my opportunities here? I was talking the other day about looking back, I'm so glad that, as a technique that you use where you imagine in several months' time when you're over the worst, what do you want to look back and say about this? This exercise or this practical tip is more useful on a day-to-day basis. You might do this when you get set in the morning, when you set yourself up for a good day. What do I want to be looking out for today that's going to cheer me up, make me feel good? What do I need to remember that's going to make me feel grateful about my situation, etc.? So we can learn through this crisis to be better and better at proactively managing our own well-being. There is a crisis out there. There is loads of bad news. Yes, that's all true. And yet, our attention is like Velcro for bad news and Teflon for good news. So that's just the way that we're wired. Our ancestors were very good at being afraid and running and watching out for things that were going to get them. So we've inherited that too. So next day or tomorrow morning, when you're getting ready for your day, before you sit down to work, spend a bit of time writing a short list of what are the things I want to notice today? What are the things I've got to look out for? What am I happy about? What am I grateful for? So when I thought about this, the first thing that popped into my head, I just saw the cat walking down the garden. Only 6 months ago, we got 2 kittens, 2 cats. First significant pets we've got in the house. We've got little things like a lizard and a tarantula for my son, but dog or a cat, much bigger thing. Anyway, we all get loads of happiness out of these cats. We had them before coronavirus, we'll have them after coronavirus. Why don't we use them now during to really make the most of, appreciate and enjoy them? They're here regardless, they're not even impacted by it. So there's tons of stuff which is going on for you, which you can be grateful about. There are also lots of things that you can decide to look out for. My son just told me about a story that he got on Insta or whatever the thing is teenagers look at. I got him to check that it was true news, and it was about a 101-year-old man who had survived the Spanish flu in 1918, and he's Italian by the way, and he's just been discharged from hospital having recovered from COVID-19. So the good news is out there, you just need to look out for it. I hope this is helpful. Let me know in the comments.